Ages.
By around the year 500 CE, the political map of the Western Roman world had been completely transformed. Every former Western Roman province had become a kingdom ruled by groups traditionally labeled as barbarians. Franks and Burgundians ruled Gaul, Ostrogoths controlled Italy, Suebi and Visigoths dominated Hispania, Vandals governed North Africa, while Anglo-Saxons and Britons shaped post-Roman Britain. Yet this dramatic transformation was not the result of sweeping military invasions or direct territorial conquests against a functioning Roman Empire. Instead, it emerged from the gradual and irreversible collapse of Roman political structures, especially from the last quarter of the 4th century onward. This collapse exposed the fragility of imperial authority at the local level and forced communities to rethink where power truly resided. To understand the formation of the barbarian kingdoms, we must therefore shift our focus away from invasions and migrations and place local society, political choice, and ethnic identity at the center of the story. In regions where social order depended heavily on the effective presence of the Roman state, the breakdown of imperial power was both rapid and profound. Once Roman administration ceased to function effectively, communities were left without protection, arbitration, or political leadership. As a result, populations began to seek new sources of authority. Even though many symbols of Roman power, such as language, titles, and administrative forms, continued to exist, they no longer guaranteed real control. Authority increasingly depended on visible and tangible markers of power. Material culture became especially important. Objects associated with non-Roman traditions, particularly those linked to barbarian warrior elites, began to serve as symbols of leadership. Among the most influential of these traditions was the Gothic Hunnic culture of the Danubian region, closely connected to the short-lived empire of Attila. The tomb of the Frankish king Childeric, who died around 480, offers a powerful illustration of this changing political landscape. Childeric was buried with unmistakably Roman insignia of authority, including an official brooch and a signet ring. These items signaled continuity with Roman traditions of power. At the same time, his grave also contained gold and garnet ornaments inspired by Danubian traditions. These objects conveyed a different message, one rooted in the authority of barbarian warrior culture. This combination reveals a critical reality of the late Roman world. By the 4th century, imperial continuity depended on the ability to maintain power at the local level. After 388, that ability was permanently lost. Individuals and communities were therefore compelled to seek alternative political frameworks capable of sustaining authority and protection. Some barbarian warrior groups were already settled inside the borders of the Roman Empire and gradually became alternative centers of power. This was especially true when they were granted control over specific provinces. At the same time, powerful barbarian kings established along the frontiers were able to project influence into neighboring regions. These rulers provided military backing and political stability when viable Roman options no longer existed. The result was not a simple replacement of Roman rule by barbarian rule, but a complex negotiation of authority in which multiple power centers competed and overlapped. To fully understand this transformation, it is essential to place provincial populations back at the center of the narrative. They were not passive victims of collapse, nor indifferent observers of a transfer of power from Romans to barbarians. The idea that provincials were powerless spectators, as once suggested by H.M. Jones, no longer holds. Nor should the collaboration between barbarian rulers and senatorial aristocrats from Gaul, Hispania, or Italy be seen merely as a desperate search for protection. In reality, many provincial elites demonstrated clear political initiative and military capacity. In early 5th century Hispania, some Hispano-Roman aristocrats attempted, unsuccessfully, to defend the Pyrenees against the Vandals, showing that they were capable of organizing military resistance. In southern Gaul, elites led armed contingents both against the Goths and alongside them, becoming central figures within their armies. In Baetica and other regions of southern Hispania, local elites maintained political autonomy for decades. These examples make it clear that cooperation with barbarian rulers cannot be explained simply as a need for protection. Something deeper was at stake. For southern provincial elites, allegiance to barbarian rulers is better understood as a strategy to preserve access to political power. For generations, these elites had been closely connected to the imperial center. After 388, that access was increasingly threatened. Barbarian rulers offered a new route to the center of power. Through them, senatorial aristocrats could maintain their status, assert dominance over rivals, and preserve their influence at the local level. This dominance was often reinforced through ecclesiastical authority. However, non-ecclesiastical paths, especially military and administrative roles, were even more numerous, though long underestimated by historians. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share this video. The adaptability of these elites became especially clear after the Visigothic defeat at the Battle of Vouillé in 507. Within about a decade, the Goths were expelled from Aquitaine. Southern Gallic aristocrats lost direct access to political power but responded quickly. Many entered the service of the northern Frankish kings, adjusting to new political realities in order to preserve their influence. This flexibility highlights how political identity was shaped less by ethnicity and more by access to authority. In regions such as northern Gaul and Britain, reliance on external barbarian groups became even more essential at the most local levels of power. In these contexts, the adoption of ethnic identities associated with newcomers occurred on a massive scale. By around 700, nearly everyone north of the Loire identified as Frankish, in the southeast as Burgundian, in Hispania as Gothic, and in the lowlands of Britain as Anglo-Saxon. To find Romans, one increasingly had to look to Italy. This disappearance of Roman identity puzzled writers of the 7th and 8th centuries, who attempted to explain it through stories of massacres and mass expulsions, especially in Gaul, where they also needed to explain how the Franks had learned Latin. In reality, the categories of Roman and barbarian were highly fluid. In the post-Roman world, this flexibility became even more pronounced. In Ostrogothic Italy, Gothic rulers were rarely described as barbarians. The term was reserved for other foreigners. In the Burgundian kingdom, by contrast, barbarian could be consciously embraced as a positive identity. In Gaul, the Roman barbarian distinction was sometimes used to separate Catholic Christians from heretics or pagans. By the 8th century, a Bavarian scribe even reversed traditional values entirely, writing in Latin, "The Romans are fools, the Bavarians are wise." New political identities, Frank, Goth, Burgundian, Anglo, or Saxon, could be adopted with relative ease. This was largely because military and political power rested with warrior elites. In many post-Roman kingdoms, a functional division emerged. Barbarians fought, while Romans paid taxes. Identifying as barbarian could therefore mean exemption from taxation. Legal codes often granted specific privileges to populations labeled as barbarian, creating strong incentives to adopt that identity. Even Gregory of Tours, a senatorial aristocrat, had a great-uncle named Gundulf, a barbarian name likely linked to service at the Frankish court. At the local level, ethnic identity could determine success or failure in struggles for power. Ethnic transformation operated through many channels. Names were one of the most visible markers, and some individuals even carried both Roman and barbarian names. Material culture played a central role. Clothing, brooches, and personal ornaments functioned as clear signals of political affiliation. Even less tangible elements, such as hairstyles, could serve as markers of identity, as various sources suggest. The impact of these changes varied widely across regions. In Britain, transformation included a complete replacement of language. Elsewhere, barbarian linguistic influence remained limited, even where ethnic redefinition was profound. This difference cannot be explained simply by migration numbers. Franks, Goths, and Burgundians exercised similar political dominance without significantly altering local languages. The decisive factor was the strength, or fragility, of provincial identity. In regions where change was gradual, such as southern Gaul, Italy, and 6th century Hispania, Roman identity among elites remained strong. It functioned as a symbolic resource against newcomers, preventing linguistic replacement even as barbarian names became common. Only the wars and instability of the mid-6th century, which destroyed much of the old Roman aristocracy, finally shifted this balance in Italy and Hispania. Aquitaine followed a unique path. Until the 8th century, Aquitanians did not become Franks. Instead, many adopted a Basque or Gascon identity as a political strategy, seeking support from more immediate military powers after exclusion from central politics. In northern Gaul, where Roman identity was weaker, Frankish identity became nearly universal by around 600. In Britain, the process was even more radical. Latin language and Roman identity collapsed entirely after 388, replaced by British and English political identities, with no possibility of recovery. These profound transformations do not require the assumption of massive barbarian migrations. Cultural change can be explained by the vulnerability of local societies and the symbolic and political strength of new ruling elites. Migrations should be understood as consequences of the collapse of the Roman Empire, not its cause. Post-Roman kingdoms were not foreign impositions but developments rooted in provincial history. Above all, new political identities emerged from conscious choices made by individuals and communities navigating local struggles for power. To understand the end of Rome and the rise of barbarian kingdoms, we must place people back at the center of their own history.